All right, we were just talking about the maintenance could be the ones that makes or breaks your company. The ability to get there and solve problems quickly is key. Now, if you have an apartment complex, which always will outdo, in my mind, 12 units. I'd rather have a 12-unit apartment complex than 12 houses. You got the economies of scale, everybody's in one spot, one maintenance man can walk to all of that. So in that situation, obviously you've got a maintenance man on site. There are 4 or 5 different types of maintenance that we're going to be dealing with. The first one is called preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance deals with, kind of got me lost, where are we at? Preventative maintenance is on page 375. Preventative maintenance would be things that you would do to make sure they don't break down. A good example would be changing furnace filters. All right? If you fail at the preventative maintenance, you get to do the second one, which is called corrective maintenance. Fixing the crap that broke. You know, we got to fix the furnace, or we got to fix the pipes, or we got to redo the drywall, all of that. The third type of maintenance would be called routine maintenance. Routine maintenance deals with the stuff that you would do on a day-to-day activity. If you were in an apartment complex, for example, you might mop the entryway every day, mow the lawn on a regular basis. Those would be all the routine maintenance. Now, the fourth one that they talk about, it's really not maintenance, but is an improvement, is called tenant improvement. We mentioned the slang already, TI. That's what it's called. In the commercial world, TI is usually done by the tenant, hence the word tenant improvement, like that wall in the back of the room. That would be the fourth type of maintenance that could be undertaken. But don't forget, if it's a tenant's issue, then it's a tenant's issue. It's not a landlord's issue. Like, I wouldn't call my landlord in here to fix my computer. That's my issue. We still have federal laws that we deal with. We have touched on both of these laws at one point in time, but don't forget we have the ADA laws, which are consumer employee laws. These aren't housing issues, but because your management company is a business, you still adhere to those. And there are two of them that we're interested in. Title I says that an employer is supposed to make in a place of employment as reasonably modified as possible to accept a handicapped employee. Reasonable modifications.
We talked about this.
Yeah. And that's both of these we've talked about, but I'm just reminding you. And Title III deals with the access to public places like elevators and curb cuts and ramps. But because of your business deals with housing, we also have fair housing issues. All right? So don't forget that. Sometimes you guys are extending credit, which basically is when you put someone on a lease, you're extending them credit to some extent. We also have the ECOA, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which we've also talked about. And that's got 8 protected classes. But remember, it's not 7 plus 1, right? 7 minus 2 plus 3. Because they get rid of familial status and add marital status. They get rid of disability, they add age, and then they add the 8th one, which is dependent on public assistance for the credit. Now, one of the big things that's become very prominent right now, especially in this world, is risk and security. When dealing with risk management, there are 4 ways to deal with the risk. The most common type of management is to simply avoid the problem. When I was growing up and we used to go on vacation, I was young, 8, 9, we used to tell our mom and dad, hey, let's stop at a hotel with a pool because we wanted to swim. How do you avoid drowning lawsuits? Don't have a pool. You just avoid the risk altogether. And they started doing that. You see all those, remember those motels, they would push the dirt in the pool? No pool anymore. Avoid the risk. Control the risk seems to be the first step, and most of our security stuff is pointed this way. TSA, that's controlling the risk. Fire sprinklers, controlling the risk. Sonatrol proximity cards, beep, to get in, that's controlling the risk. That seems to be the number one answer everybody does first because it's probably the easiest and most cost effective. Rather than getting rid of all of the bad people, let's just control who gets on the airplane. Now, wouldn't it be really cool if I could pay someone to take the risk for me?
Insurance.
I don't really want to take the risk, so I'm going to pay somebody else to do it. Yes, ta-da, we have insurance. That's all you're doing is paying someone else to take the risk for you. And the amount of risk you transfer is inversely proportionate to the amount that you keep. And we talk about that all the time. I want to raise my deductible on my car insurance. That means I'm going to keep more risk. So I'm transferring less risk to my insurance. What happens to the cost of that insurance? Goes down, right? Because they're having less risk to worry about. And vice versa. You theoretically could have car insurance with no deductible. It's going to cost you a lot more because now they're taking all of the risk. But theoretically, we could do it. And there are many different types of insurances that I want to speak at. Would that be insuri or insurances? I always get that. Like status. Statuses or stati?
It would just be insurance. There are many types of insurance I want to speak about.
Is it fish or fishes?
Plural and singular. Fish.
Trick question. Is it fish or fishes?
It's fish.
No, that's incorrect. It's fishes.
Possibly, yes.
If they're different species.
Oh.
You want it challenging me?
No way. You win. Just, let's go.
Yes, it's fishes.
Moving
All of
on.
the fishes in the sea are different breeds, so it would be fishes. Okay.
Well,
I
guess-
thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken.
I think it's just insurance, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Insurance policies. The second word would be still fishes. There's many different types of insurance that you could get to, okay?
If you're going to insure your fishes.
I'm going to insure my fishes. Haven't you heard the song Joy to the World? And all the fishes in the deep blue sea? That's technically correct because multiple species are fishes.
We believe you.
I heard, you know what I heard her just say? If I say yes, will you shut up? That's what I heard her say.
All the time. You're right.
Usually it comes in the form of, yes, honey. Translates to, if I say yes, will you shut up? What he said and she heard, or she said and he heard.
I'm writing a book about that here soon.
She said, does these pants make my butt look big? He heard, I want to start a fight.
Yeah.
That's a Sean Morey.
Yeah.
So there are many types of commercial insurance. Now, in this world or in this room, I want you guys to understand that the word commercial insurance really means consumer. Because we use the word commercial to be a special type of real estate. You can get insurance on your residential property. So insurance agent calls it commercial lines or commercial products, meaning they sell it like a commodity. But it doesn't mean it's just commercial real estate because it's the same word we're using two different ways. So in the book there where it says commercial insurance, it really means consumer insurance. Because some of these policies you can get on your rental are on your residential property as well. All right? So don't confuse those two words. There's one there called tenant insurance we're going to get to in just a minute. But there are many different types of insurance. The first type of insurance is called the fire and hazard insurance. Guess what fire and hazard insurance protects?
Windstorm.
They're pretty sneaky on how they name that. It protects you against fires and hazards. All right? Pretty sly on their part. Let's name it fire and hazard. Consequential loss. Sometimes you hear this called loss of business insurance. As a real estate professional, you won't need this, because your place of business is wherever you happen to be standing at that minute. Unlike when I owned the bar, we had consequential loss. We had fire and hazard on the building, but if it ever burned down, I couldn't sling drinks, so I lost my income. We would have consequential loss on the income portion, so I could get paid while they're rebuilding the structure. All right? If you have multiple policies, the word is called multi-peril policy. Multi-peril. And most everybody has multi-peril because you want a combination of these. Contents and personal property. That's the true name of it. We call it renter's insurance, but that's technically a misnomer because condo people can get it as well. Your fire and hazard homeowner's insurance covers your structure. You want your TV covered, you got to get contents and personal property. Now, some of them have riders that cover the personal property if you buy the homeowner, but like if I was renting to a tenant, I would literally, and I have told them, see the house? I'm protecting that. See this crap that's yours? You got to protect that with renter's insurance, which is contents and
Didn't you
personal
say
property.
back at the beginning about flood insurance? Isn't that like a government, like
Only
only the
in certain-
government?
only
No,
in an
it's,
area.
they're the underwriter.
Underwriter, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you could still go get flood insurance from Flo at Progressive,
But the,
but it's underwritten by FEMA.
okay,
Yeah.
so it's always that way for flood insurance.
Yes, flood insurance is always underwritten by FEMA, no matter where you go. And I think they talk about flood insurance in here, and I skipped over it because we've discussed it already. So there on page 380, it talks about flood insurance, but it's actually underwritten by FEMA. Or the National Flood Insurance Program, and FEMA is the Department of HUD. Liability insurance, that's the slips, trips, and falls. So for instance, in this room, I don't have liability insurance. So if you guys fall and hit your head, I have to drag you out in the hallway so that the landlord's insurance will cover you, right? That's a lie, I do have insurance.
Don't tell us.
Yes, I do. And matter of fact, on my insurance, I've named my landlord also insured or otherwise insured so that if something ever happens and I quit paying it, he knows as well. That's very common in the commercial world. Casualty insurance, that's the glass breakage, vandalism. A surety bond. All the insurance policies that we have just been talking about are static insurance policies. What I mean by that is my liability policy only protects me and you inside of this room. You walk outside of the room, not covered anymore. Think of a surety bond as like a dynamic policy. It follows a person typically. The most common one that you guys all see, plumbers that says licensed and bonded, that's what they're talking about. They have an insurance policy that goes with them, so if they go in your house and they drop a wrench and it puts a hole in your drywall, their policy will cover that. That's what bonded means. I have a bond in here. My bond, like I was joking with you earlier, is what they call a performance bond, which says that the school actually will take place and you will get value. If something happens and I have taken all your money and split and down in the Bahamas, you actually could go to the state and make a claim against my bond to get your money back. So when I told you, you did pay for the floor show because this is a performance bond that I'm working under. All right? So thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. Maintenance men usually are bonded in property so that when they go into someone's house and they leave, the diamond ring doesn't go with them or their 41-inch screen TV. Anytime you have multiple policies, it's called a multi-peril policy. So like in the bar situation, we had liability insurance, we had fire and hazard insurance, we had casualty insurance, and we also had consequential loss insurance. That was just for one bar that I own. You get all of those. Called multi-peril. I've said it 4 times now. Might be a reason for that. And claims are made in 2 different ways, which we have discussed already under the homeowner's insurance. You've got the cash claim, which pays you the current cash value of the object that was either damaged or stolen or destroyed or whatever. And then you have a policy that actually pays to replace it at the current cost. Obviously, the replacement policy has higher premiums. And the reason is, you take the difference between the 2 policies, put it in a bank account, and if you ever need it, there you go. All right, any questions on property management? If I were you guys, I would understand the 3 things a property manager has to do. I would understand definitely the math in there. I would know the different types of risk. Avoid, transfer, all those.
Backdoor.
Definitely know your insurance policy types. Okay? I seem to think those are important.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nod, nod. Winking, blinking, and nod.
We need to make up a story about a risk management actor. Remember that?
All right. Thank you.